What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another series. I decided to make a self-love, self-care series. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to call it, but I feel we need to dive deeper into that. There is what is self-love and self-care, there is why is it important, and then there's details of what are ways to practice self-love and self-care. And I want to talk about misconceptions. I want to talk about why it's important, and just really dive deep into this. So I thought I would dedicate a whole playlist series to my channel on this subject. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button below and hit that like button if you're into this type of content, and hit that bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. So with that being said, let's jump into the video. What is self-love really? We've heard about it before, but what does it really mean? Self-love actions allow us to grow in a physical, psychological, spiritual way. Self-love means we are being mindful of our happiness and our well-being, that we take care of ourselves first before trying to please other people and therefore sacrificing our own well-being and happiness. It means we don't settle for less than what we deserve. We are clear around what we need, what we want, and what we deserve. And we put that first. Since we are all different human beings, we all have a different meaning for self-love. So it's important that we figure out what that means, what we need to do to love ourselves first, and then put that into practice. This is where I think self-love and self-care kind of go together. So a lot of people feel that self-love is self-care, and I believe as well that self-care and self-love do go hand in hand, and that a lot of the things that I do for self-care is me loving myself and putting myself first. There are others, which I'll get into. And since we all live in such a distracted, fast-paced world, we need to sometimes go back to the basics to love ourselves first. Self-love also means accepting and validating your own emotions. Again, we live in such a fast-paced world where we're always tending to other people, and I have to go and do this for work, and I have to do this for this client, and I have to do this for my mom and dad, and for my significant other, and my kids, and my dog. And when do you validate your own emotions? When do you slow down and schedule in some time to feel what you're feeling and validate them? So now, why practice self-love? I know we kind of talked about it, but if we really want to get a more specific answer, it motivates us to make healthy choices. It motivates us to continue being our healthiest version of ourselves. When you feel good, safe, happy, calm, rested, understood, validated, even within yourself, and doing that for yourself, you're more apt to making healthier choices that sustain that lifestyle. Ultimately, choices that really benefit you. You ever just have a bad day and one thing after another happens, and then it's a trickle effect of shittiness. You were late for work, and then you had a mess up at work, and then you're gonna go and get McDonald's at lunch because you just need some comfort food, and you need to just feel good about something at least in your day. And then when you get home from work, you feel like shit in your body because you had McDonald's. So then you're just gonna chill on the couch rather than doing your workout that you were gonna do. Do you see how those actions all trickle into each other, and it allows for us to continue making poor choices? So of course, I'm not saying every day has to be perfect. I'm saying as much as you can be in a good mental, spiritual, and emotional state, you'll make better choices, and then therefore having a better life. Obviously, if we have a bad day, we have a bad day, and you make some shitty choices, you make some shitty choices. But we don't want to be doing that all the time, right? So being aware of your self-love and your self-care is really important, so you can minimize the amount of shitty days you have. We want to be creating good habits. We don't want to be sustaining bad habits. So I feel like we all know right now off the top of our head a couple things that we would consider a bad habit. And again, we're not all perfect. We all have bad habits. That's totally normal and okay. If we can implement as many good habits that serve us and that are good for our psychological state, for our mental health, for our physical health, for our emotional health, we should be doing that. Now let's get into some examples of self-love. The first one I'll talk about is being loving to yourself. That may sound a little bit uncomfortable for some of you, but being loving to yourself could be talking to yourself in a loving way, thinking about yourself in a loving way, journaling and writing things down about yourself, complimenting yourself. We're so quick and easy to compliment other people. We're so loving to other people. We don't talk to other people the way we think about ourselves sometimes in our head, right? That would be crazy. We probably wouldn't have many friends if we spoke to other people the way we think and speak to ourselves sometimes, which is nuts, because the first love we have and the last love we have will be with ourselves. And we don't give ourselves enough love. From what I'm seeing in today's day and age, we have some serious issues, and these issues stem from society and just the way that the world is moving right now. But we really need to focus back on ourselves. In order to grow with the world, we need to take a step back and really time block some proper self-care and self-love, because if we don't, our mental health will be extremely affected. And I'm sure some of you already know what I'm talking about. Be loving to yourself is number one. And there are many ways to do that, but we'll stick with that for now, and we'll get into details in another video. Refraining from being judgmental to yourself is also really, really important, because then we put this judgy feeling on ourselves, this guilt, this shame around, it could be anything. Judging yourself for small things, for large things. Being kinder to yourself is something really, really important, and we know the reasons why by now, but monitor the amount of judgment that you do towards yourself going forward. On that topic, I'll move over towards forgiving yourself. So a lot of us have been through different scenarios where we wish it went a different way. We wish we made different choices, and we are upset with ourselves and hold ourselves so accountable for that mistake that it is affecting the way we live day to day now. So that's not serving us. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to accept and move forward. And that'll really, really help mental health. Moving over to boundaries. Boundaries. This is huge for self-love and self-care. The first thing that I can think of is, in order to make sure that we actually do practice self-care, we need to time block it. Just like you time block your work in your schedule, and you time block going to the gym in your schedule, and you time block when you have to go to the grocery store, to the bank, to get gas. These are all things that are extremely necessary in our lives, right? So we need to time block self-love into our schedules as if it were extremely, extremely necessary, because it is. Sometimes when we do that, we have to say no to other people, which means you have to set a boundary. And if you're not used to setting boundaries and you are either an empath or just not used to it, this is where you grow. I have definitely grown recently with setting boundaries. I am working on myself more and more. I am time blocking that self-love and self-care time more and more. And I'm setting boundaries with work. I'm setting boundaries with friends and family. It's to honor myself and to make myself the happiest and healthiest that I can be. So part of self-love and self-care is setting boundaries for anything, or for the sole purpose of having your time for you. It could even be small things like getting up from your desk every half hour to take a 5-minute break or a 3-minute break of stretching and moving around. I find we just go throughout our days like machines and robots. We do whatever we have to do or what we think we have to do for other people, and we don't make enough choices for ourselves throughout the day. So imagine how different your back would feel, your posture would feel if you took more breaks throughout the day, if you took more stretching breaks, if you took dance breaks, if you took maybe more food breaks or hydration breaks. That's stuff for you. That's stuff benefiting you as a person, as your body and your health. It sounds like so simple, take breaks throughout your day, but it will make a huge difference on you. Another form of self-love and self-care is a phone detox. Sometimes I just leave my phone on the charger upstairs. I go throughout my hours of, let's say if it's a half a day phone detox, I'll go throughout my day, and it's a really, really healthy choice to make sometimes. Sometimes social media gets overwhelming. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes there are too many things to feel like we have to respond to. A phone detox is it's a great way to practice self-love. Nutrition. Feeding yourself good quality food is a great way to practice self-love. Also, indulging is a great way to practice self-love. Not depriving yourself, but again, for the most part, giving yourself the good nutrients and fuel that your body needs, but also having that balance and having that fun where on Friday night you do have, that piece of cake that you want from that restaurant or whatever. These are little things that definitely play into self-love and self-care, and we'll get more into the details of things in another video, but this video is mainly to talk about an introduction to self-love and self-care, why it's important, what some examples are, how to do them. Self-love and self-care isn't about getting your nails done and thinking that's like self-care. It is part of self-love and self-care, but it's not just those things that are put your face mask on and your hair mask on and get your nails done with your girlfriends, and that's self-care because you're taking care of yourself on the outside, but it's also what's on the inside. So we'll get into that in another video, but this was the introduction to my self-love, self-care series. Super excited to keep filming for this and hear your guys' thoughts and promote self-love and self-care. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.